This is DJ Rubbish on the ones and twos. And I just come here to let y'all know it's about to get real filthy in this mother.
All right, welcome to episode 25 of In Todd We Trust. We have my dear friend Rachael Harrison on the show today. Hello, Rachael. How are you doing?
I'm great. Glad to be here. Thanks, Todd.
Awesome. So the podcast now has a website. If you want to check out a few things, including the episode titles and descriptions, www.itwtpodcast.com is where you can access spoiler-free one-sentence reviews and movie ratings, episode descriptions, Song of the Week playlist, and movie track playlists. And you can also submit a form to be a guest on the show. Cannot guarantee that you'll be on the show, but maybe you'll get lucky. You can also listen to the podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and also watch on YouTube. Each Saturday, the YouTube video will go up, and each Thursday morning is when I put up the Spotify and Apple Podcast. So, like I said, we have Rachael here today, currently dating one of my other good friends, Dan, who was on the show earlier in the series.
Yeah.
I think you were telling me before the podcast that you're thinking of cutting things off with Dan. So sorry,
you're not
Dan.
supposed to
I'm
say that.
kidding. Yeah.
That was private information, Todd.
We'll edit it out.
Hopefully he doesn't listen.
Right? Yeah. So yeah, Dan, you have a rough weekend coming ahead of you, buddy.
No, just kidding. We're still together.
JK,
We're good.
JK, Dan. We love you. You all have a cat. How long have you had your cat?
I think I don't know. Honestly, I try and not think about her as much as possible. Maybe 2 or 3 years.
Oh my gosh, that cat.
She's kind of like a rotten cat for the listeners out there. She's pretty evil. We got really excited about getting a cat. We thought she was going to be super lovable and fun to hang out with, but she just kind of picks on us and destroys our things. And
Picks on us.
really mean to our guests, whenever we have people over.
Yeah,
so
she's never really been my biggest fan. You know, I've picked up on that the last couple times.
It's not you.
You know, I have a thing against cats though, so she probably knows that. She could probably feel that and sense that. But yeah, I believe that all cats are evil. Once they become actual full-grown cats, I love kittens, but once they become cats, it's like, we gotta get rid of you.
She was even pretty evil as a kitten too, so we should have known. But
that's
not
it.
going
If
back
you're a
now.
rotten kitten, then yeah.
It's not like a fish where they live for a week where you're like, oh, I hate that fish, but it'll be gone soon. Where it's
Hate
well,
fish.
here's the next 20 years of our life, basically.
Yeah. I'm just go on record as saying something's wrong with you if you hate a fish. How do you hate a fish?
That's so true.
How does a fish wreak havoc in your home? So Rachael is a Detroit native who actually gave me my first tour of the city.
I did?
I think you've given me a couple tours of the city at this point, but yes, you and Dan gave me a drive around. I've never really been to Detroit before. Kind of going around with you all. So yeah. Anyway, we'll get into it. Do you have a song of the week?
I was telling you a little bit.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, you did mention what is it?
So if I'm trying to be
No
cool,
judgment.
then my song of the week is "Out of My Head" by Khalid and John Mayer, because that's a song that I listen to when I've been in the shower or washing dishes or whatever. But to be honest, I really haven't been listening to music a lot this week, and when I have been, it's at work or school or something to try and get in the zone. So my true north song of the week is Nocturne in E flat by Frederic Chopin, I think is his name.
There you go. There's no shame.
Well, I just listen to classical music because at work when it gets super busy or loud, I feel like it's hard to listen to music when there's words and still focus.
That's fair.
So it kind of it blocks noise out, but it does the job, I guess.
Yeah, no, that's fair. No, I like classical music as well. I think for that exact same reason and scenario. Like, it's not necessarily something that, like, road trip, like spring break, and you throw on classical music.
Right.
But yeah, like, I think if you're doing, like, studying, like, I've definitely thrown on a classical music playlist before while studying.
Yeah.
When I rarely study. My song of the week, I have one written down, but I'm gonna take a page out of your book and give my actual real song of the week.
Okay.
So I have one written down that's a little bit like different. It's more of a hip hop dance type of song, which is different than what I currently have been having as my song of the week since I started this segment. So I want to switch things up and add some diversity to the playlist. But if I'm going to be completely honest with myself, my actual song of the week is "Sympathy" by Vampire Weekend. They just came out with an album last week that is pretty good. It's pretty solid. It's probably like 4 or 5 like really fire tracks on there. "Sympathy" I think is my favorite right now. But yeah, that's what I've been jamming out to most this past week.
Nice, I
was
love
listening
it.
to it before I came in here. I was like, you know what, I got to go with my real song of the week. I got to be true to myself.
Own your identity.
Exactly. Exactly. All right. Next segment we have random rapid fire. So I have 10 questions for you.
Oh, okay.
And you have to quickly answer them. I don't have like a buzzer or anything like that, but just try to have a little about movies in general.
Oh,
so not
okay.
about this movie specifically, but you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, here we go. If you could be president for a day, what's the first thing you'd do?
Learn who killed JFK.
Wow.
Which I think is talked about in the movie.
Yeah, they brought up in the movie. That was
Yeah.
funny. Favorite rom-com of all time?
I don't know. Let's see. I really like 500 Days of Summer.
Okay.
I
That's
don't
a
know if
weird
that's a
one.
rom-com.
I'll put it in a rom-com. It's a weird one, but I'd say rom-com. If you started a rom-com, which city would it be in?
I do Detroit. I don't think we've
I knew
really
you were
had
gonna say
any.
that. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think we've had any rom-coms, and I feel like most are in New York City or
All of them are.
Chicago or something. So
Yeah. I don't know
put
if
the
a lot
city
of
on the map a
romance.
little bit.
Yeah, I don't think you associate Detroit with romance, but yes. No, that's totally fine. Yeah, your romance story can be here. Favorite actress of all time?
I love Jennifer Lawrence. She's so cool.
J-Law?
Yeah.
I love J-Law as well. Favorite actor of all time?
I think George Clooney. I totally have a crush on him. I
Okay.
love him.
Yeah, that's fair. He's a suave guy. Worst movie you've seen in theaters? These are toughies, I know. I'm asking ones that like you have to actually like take some time to really think about.
I know. How is this rapid fire?
I know,
These are
right?
like
I'm giving you like
deep
essay
questions.
Yeah.
Because I'm like applying
Sure.
for college or
Yeah.
something. Worst movie I've seen in theaters.
We'll pass.
Yeah,
Butter
I'm
or
gonna have
no
to
butter
pass.
on your popcorn?
I like butter. Yeah, put it on there.
Do you talk during movies?
No, strict no talking policy.
Okay. All right. Good. I like that. You know what? Dan's a talker. So if you both talk during movies, you guys would never watch a movie.
He doesn't really like to go to the movies, but when he does go, like he enjoys it, and he's like, "Yeah, this was good."
Yeah.
So.
Least favorite movie genre?
I don't like horror movies at all.
Yeah, I'm with you.
The only time I've ever really watched horror movies was part of that like weird middle school phase where everyone's obsessed with them and it's the cool thing to do to go to people's houses and watch horror movies. Maybe that was just like my friends growing up.
I didn't get into that one. I mean, I definitely was like in the like you try to sneak, like you weren't old enough to get into a rated R movie, so like you try to sneak into the like I've done that, and that's probably the extent of like the trying to get into a horror movie. But other than that, like I never was with the that probably was a thing. It probably just wasn't a thing for me. If you had to rewatch the same movie for the rest of your life, what would it be?
I love Forrest Gump. I like still tear up every time I see that. It's just like such a good movie.
It's a classic.
Yeah,
so
I feel like I could watch that over and over again.
That's fair. That's a classic. All right. So before we get into movies, one thing that I thought was interesting this week that I was seeing about Sonic the Hedgehog, they just released an official trailer for it coming out later this year, and it got a lot of negative backlash because they didn't feel like a lot of fans, and myself included, didn't feel like Sonic looked like wasn't stylized in CGI like he looks in the how he's looked in like cartoons and also the video game growing up. So a lot of people had some feedback for that, and you know, the whether it be like the animator, director, I don't know who, someone associated with the movie came out and said only 3 days after the trailer came out, saying, "Hey, we are going to go back and change him up to look like how he's supposed to look like." So they're about to go redo all that in the movie. So I thought that was like interesting, how powerful social media is and how much power it's given to consumers now. Like the fact that, like, I mean, this is one example out of many where people have taken to social media to complain about something, and then you see change. I mean, this week, I don't know if you saw. Are you on Twitter?
No, I used to have a Twitter.
Okay.
I retired it.
You retired it? Yeah. That was Ray Ray. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Rachel's Twitter handle is Ray Ratchet, which is the funniest. I still like wish she would bring it back now. Like it was the greatest Twitter handle of all
Don't
time.
tell people that, because I feel like they'll probably go and try and look up my old Twitter.
Right. Is it still there?
I don't think it's there, but you never know with that. But
it's true.
I think part of the reason I retired it is because I used to tweet the dumbest things, and it would be just like stream of thought.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like when you get an old Facebook post and it'll show you what you said when you were in 8th grade. I'm like, oh God, why are you showing me this?
You know what?
So bad.
I had Time Hop for a while, like the actual app, for a while. And what's eerie for me is there were times when it would show me like what I tweeted like years ago, and it would be really close to something I tweeted around the same time at the same time of year. Like that would be unrelated. You know, if I tweet something about like Christmas, like obviously around December 25th, like that makes sense. But it would be like, it always annoys me like when people would chew their food loudly, and it's like on the same week in April. Like,
oh, that's weird.
So that was odd for me. Like I saw that a couple times. I was like, okay, I'm deleting Time Hop because this is like eerie how like my brain works. Like it's subconsciously, you know, going in this loop where I'm saying the same stuff. So that was weird. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. But anyway, so I thought that was interesting with social media. How like
that is, and I was gonna say, like, didn't a similar thing happen with Aladdin and Will Smith as the genie? Like originally, they were doing promos of him, and he looked super creepy to everyone, and so they kind of scaled back and redid the CGI or whatever.
I don't know. You might be right. I haven't read anything about that. I'm still like questionable about this Aladdin, the original. So we're gonna see how this one does. But I don't know. I'll reserve judgment until I see. But yeah, some of that CGI for him being blue and stuff, I'm like, I don't know what's happening here.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. But I think that's the toned down version, though. I'm pretty sure.
We'll see. I hope so. I hope they tone it down.
Fact check that.
Yeah, I will. I definitely will. Random. How important is bacon for you to have at a breakfast place, at a breakfast restaurant?
When I go to a restaurant for breakfast, I'm more of an omelet person,
okay.
And so it doesn't really apply to me in most cases. But I like to have bacon on the weekends if I'm just like making my own breakfast. But I do turkey bacon.
Oh, come on, Rachel. No, turkey bacon actually is good.
It's actually really good.
Turkey bacon's good. I am just an original pork bacon guy, but so I love bacon. Like I can put bacon on anything. Like I think bacon on anything makes it better. And it's an essential for breakfast. So I thought about this past weekend. What is it called? La Feria?
Yeah.
La Feria, whatever it's called.
The Spanish place?
That's in my apartment, the crepe place.
Oh.
You know what I'm talking about? That's right by me.
I know what you're talking about. I thought La Feria was the Spanish tapas place.
Oh, that's right.
Around the corner.
No, that's called something else. But it's right. But that's. Oh no, you know what? Actually, no, you're right. You're absolutely right. That is the name of that place. I'm thinking this place is La something else. Whatever. The place is
whatever it is.
Whatever it is. Whatever it was, they closed down. So the crepe place closed down in my apartment building.
I never got to go.
I never went either. But the reason I didn't go is because they didn't have bacon. Like you can't. Like I'm not going to a crepe place. I'll go get a crepe. I like crepes, but I don't like crepes without I need some like bacon or something. Like I'll even take Canadian bacon if I have to take it. But,
are you a savory crepe kind of person then?
What is it? Savory and what's the other one?
Sweet and savory.
Sweet and savory.
Sweet or savory.
I would like sweet, but then bacon on the side.
Oh,
like I'll get like my go-to at places is usually like I'm not a huge breakfast person. I'll get dinner at breakfast, which is really weird. And my family makes fun of me because we'll go to like a breakfast place at like 8 o'clock in the morning. And I'll get like a turkey dinner with like
Oh, really?
mashed potatoes and corn and stuff. Yeah,
Just
or like
to be
fish.
different.
Yeah, I just never.
Or whatever
did it.
you're craving at the time.
Yeah, I never like cared that it was like breakfast time. Like, it doesn't matter when I eat the food. But anyway, I'll get waffles and strawberries and whipped cream, and then I'll have like bacon on the side and maybe some like
on the
hash
side.
browns.
I can accept if you were putting it in the crepe with all that other stuff.
Oh,
Like,
that would
that'd be
a
kind of
little
weird.
Yeah, that'd be a little weird. Yeah, you have to get me checked in somewhere if I did that. Also, before we get into the movie, Mason Ramsey, one of the greatest artists of our generation, or I don't even know if he's in our generation because he's like 5 years old, but is going to be in Lansing performing on Halloween.
Oh, wow.
So whoever wants to rage with me on Halloween at the Mason Ramsey concert in Lansing, hit me up, let me know. I'm totally
Let's
down.
do it. I'm in.
So I'm there. Huge fan. Anyway, finally getting to the movie. Description for the movie, long shot, is when Fred Flarsky reunites with his first crush, one of the most influential women in the world, Charlotte Field, he charms her. As she prepares to make a run for presidency, Charlotte hires Fred as her speechwriter, and sparks fly. So, I mean, you get a good grasp of, this is one of those movies where you get a pretty good grasp of, like, the entire movie from the trailer. Like, you get it, like, she's really important, she's going for the presidency, she hired, like, I just literally described it, like, hires him as speechwriter. He's kind of like a bum at the time, like, he's like one of those, like, he'll talk about, is he a political, like, writer before?
Yeah, he's
a
journalist.
He's a journalist.
An activist.
Yeah, he's like he's like a journalist activist, and just quit his job because this like really shady guy just bought out his newspaper that he's working for.
Yeah.
And then she reaches out and reaches out for him to write for her, because obviously he's a really good writer, really smart guy, and knows her from their childhood. So. You see all that kind of in the previews, and you see that they're going to end up together, and it's like one of those like unrealistic, like it's basically Hitch but in reverse. Like she's like this, or not in reverse, it's Hitch. You know what I mean? Like she's like this unobtainable, like amazing girl, and he's like this like frumpy kind of like loserish guy. Like
I didn't think of that. It is similar to like Hitch reverse. That's a good way to describe it.
Yeah, I just thought about it, but yeah, that's kind of how it played out. But yeah, so it came out May 3rd. The notable cast is Charlize Theron as Charlotte Field, Seth Rogan as Fred Flarsky. Fred Flarsky sounds like a nerdy kid or whatever.
Yeah,
like
they picked a good name for that.
It's hilarious. I love Seth Rogan. And then you have O'Shea Jackson Jr., who is Seth Rogen's like best friend in the movie. Writers for the movie, we have Dan Sterling, who was a producer for a couple episodes of Girls, and also for The Office, and then also a writer for King of the Hill. All of those three I watched, either watched all of it. Oh, my nose is running, sorry. But thank you for saying sorry to the
apologize.
Yeah, sorry Rachel for having to watch me. I should have brought tissue, but anyway, I watched all those shows. I like all of them. I'm a huge fan of Girls on HBO, and huge fan of The Office. I love Steve Carell. Steve Carell's like one of my favorite.
Love The Office. So good.
Classic. And Steve Carell's one of my favorite actors of all time. King of the Hill is one of those like offbeat like cartoons that come on Adult Swim or came on Adult Swim, and it was like one of those I'd watch when nothing else was on, but I really liked it. Liz Hannah is the other writer for the movie, who also did The Post and All the Bright Places, which is coming out later this year. The runtime for the movie is 2 hours and 5 minutes. Any initial thoughts you had about the movie before I get into like some of the stuff I was going to say? We'll go through it, but just like I don't know if some people like to get something off their chest for the movie.
Yeah. No major spoilers, right?
Oh, we can spoil. Oh no, we're spoiling.
Oh, we're spoiling.
Oh yeah.
Let's go all in. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Just to make sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I had really high hopes for the movie. I feel like I really liked the first half of it.
Yeah.
It was going really strong, a lot of momentum. I feel like it had really good intentions. It was definitely really funny. I was laughing the whole time. But kind of towards the second half, toward the end, I don't know, it kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I feel like, it lost me. I was kind of disappointed with it because, like, the whole, like, female empowerment thing, like first woman running for president, like that was all really cool, and I liked the way that they were doing that. But then when they were like taking Molly and like I don't know, it just kind of started to take a weird turn.
Yeah.
Like it just seemed like it was more towards the end of it was kind of like punchline driven.
Yeah.
Instead of storyline driven, and it was a lot of just like cheap sex jokes and like drugs, and like that's like to be expected with a like comedy or especially a Seth Rogan movie.
Right.
But I feel like they just didn't really finish that strong with it, and then even just the way it ended, I feel like it became more about like her in pop culture and like what they had on him that she was blackmailed for.
Yeah.
And I feel like that became why people ended up loving her, was
Right.
because of that instead of what she stood for. So that kind of like irritated me.
Yeah, that's fair.
Walking out of the movie, I was like, yeah, that was a good movie. I liked it. It was funny. Well intentions, like I said. But then after thinking about it, I was kind of like, I don't know, overall.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, you hit the nail on the head, and you brought up something that I hadn't broken up the movie into, like, first half, second half. But now that you say it, it makes complete sense. Like, I completely agree that the second half definitely felt more like a Seth Rogen, like, bro-ish, like, this is, like, one of the, like, movies he'll do with, like, him and, like, Jonah Hill, or, like, him and,
right, like, James Franco.
Yeah, James Franco. I can't even think of his name. But yeah, James Franco. It felt like that. It did get to that point where it's, like, some of the just, like, stupid sex jokes, or, like, them being tripping on Molly and then, like, going on the news. And, like, it's like, come on. Like, that's...
The Molly thing really irritated me. Like, not because I'm, like... I don't know, like, not them doing Molly irritated me, but just, like, the fact that her one more, like, when she had to make a security call, where it was kind of, like, typically more of a male-dominated thing in terms of what you typically see in movies.
Yeah.
When she had to make that security call, she ended up, like, winning it and being successful, and they made it seem like it was because she was on Molly.
Right.
And that was just kind of like, well, maybe she's actually just really smart and knew how to talk out of that situation.
Right.
So I didn't like that scene.
Yeah, I think you naturally, you know, pick up on stuff that, like, I think there's sometimes, like, us as guys don't pick up on some of the stuff that is, like, the undertones of, like you're saying, like, you know, she can be strong. She can be a strong woman who has the intelligence to get out of that situation on her own.
Right.
And how you perceive. It's interesting to see how, like, you perceive. Like, I didn't even think of it that way, but now that you say it, I'm like, wow, that is true. Like, it definitely was written in that way. Like, where you're like, okay, a guy definitely wrote that. Like, Seth Rogen definitely wrote that part. Like,
for sure.
You know, probably not even intentionally thinking it, but subconsciously probably thinking, like, you know, you're right. That is kind of how. It was perceived as, like, a male-dominated, and you had a guy, like, standing over her shoulder, the general, who's like, you gotta be strong, you gotta, you know what I mean? So, you know, in a way, they're trying to make it like she can do it on her own, but you're right, like, why can't she, like, why does she have to be, like, blackout, or, like, why does she have to be, like, tripping to, like...
Well, not even that, like, I didn't even have a problem with them going out and having a fun time, because, like, yeah, she was under a lot of stress or whatever.
Right.
But just the way that scene kind of ended, where they were like, oh, she got out of it because she was tripped out.
You're right.
That was why I was like, well, she probably could have gotten it out of it if she wasn't like that.
She probably been better off without the Molly.
No, I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I do think, like you said, I think this movie was something where I think it had a good amount of, like, funny, like, laugh out loud, like, even if you're by yourself moments. But yeah, it you know, for me, it was kind of what I was. It's what you expect with a rom-com. You know, Charlize Theron is not someone who I would expect to be in a movie quite as silly as this was.
Yeah, I was looking at other movies she's been in, and it definitely did not seem.
Yeah, I love her.
Typical for her.
No, it didn't seem like something that, you know, like you said, it was that mix of, like, okay, we have a pretty decent, like, you know what's gonna happen. It's your typical rom-com. Like, they're not doing anything super creative, but then it's like, here comes Seth Rogen with just, like, the, like, stupid, like, slapstick, like, you know, humor, and it's like, yeah, like, that's just kind of like, bro-y type humor where it's just like stupid, but it's like with that you kind of messed up a movie that was not, or it wasn't going to be a classic. Like it's not winning awards, but it was on pace to just be like, that was like a pretty good movie. Like that was
it had so much potential, and it could have been really good. And not that like those slapstick movies are necessarily bad. Like everyone likes to watch that every once in a while, but like if you're going to make a movie with the intent of like just having a lot of really funny punchlines and stuff, then just have kind of like
just do that,
like an average storyline, and focus on like the one-liners and stuff.
Right.
But they built it up so that it was going to be this like almost like a feminist tone type of movie, and then it just like became just another Seth Rogan movie.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, it definitely did start out like that. And her talking about like her dreams as a kid, and like her seeing that through, and then like obviously like them highlighting basically how dumb some of the males were in the movie, like the president. Like they made he was a complete idiot, and it's like, and how he wanted to go like back to TV and stuff like that. Like that was some of that was like really funny, like how how they had his character.
Yeah, it kind of pokes fun at like politics today, which I liked. And like, don't get me wrong, to give them credit, I felt like it was really refreshing because I feel like it was kind of the first of its kind type of movie where you don't really see a lot of movies like that. But just overall, I feel like it could have been executed better.
Yeah, they definitely could have. If you're Seth Rogen, I don't know how he pitched to Charlize Theron, like, hey, we're gonna make out a lot in this movie. Like, she probably was like, wait, why do we have, do we have to? Can I get a stunt double? But like, like, how do you like write this movie and then like pitch that to like, hey, like, this is what we're doing? It's like, did you just create this just so that we can make out?
Basically, just so they could be together.
Yeah, right.
He probably has a huge crush on her.
Right.
Like literally wrote a whole
real life.
movie for her.
Exactly right. Like, let's see who the like lead is in the next one. It was who was it? Amy Schumer, who had like I might have talked about this before on this, but I can't remember. But like Amy Schumer had this joke talking about how like you have these movies and it's like some like schmuck of a guy who like gets this beautiful girl and the girl's just like taken aback that she like, and that wasn't this movie. Like obviously like he like realized like I love you and like I like want to be with you, and it was more of her like coming around. But like what is the movie with Kevin James where he's like zookeeper? Have you ever seen that? Where he's like,
I don't think
he's a zookeeper, and the love interest is Rosario Dawson, and it's like she's like this like girl who he never notices, and she just really like loves him, and he never sees her, and it's like, wait, come on now, time out, like, are you serious? Like Rosario Dawson is like fawning over Kevin James, and like he doesn't notice her until the end of the movie. Like, come on.
Let's be real.
So and she made a joke about it, which is funny, like made me think like, right, yeah, you're right. Like, who's writing these movies? Like, did Kevin James write that movie?
Yeah.
Like, he had to have. Also, O'Shea Jackson, I can't see him without seeing Ice Cube. First of all, like in any movie, like all I see is Ice Cube when I see him. Like,
wait, what was?
Do you not know? Wait,
I don't think I picked up on that.
Wait, time out, Rich. So his best friend in the movie. So Seth Rogen's best friend, that's Ice Cube's son.
No way.
You didn't know that?
Okay, I can see the resemblance.
Yeah.
Like.
Now that I tell you, now when you see him and stuff, you're gonna be like, that's all you're gonna be able to see is Ice Cube.
Yeah, for sure.
But that's all I can see when I see him. Also, he wasn't funny. Like he isn't really funny. Like
he didn't seem like a very good actor.
No.
Like I feel like his lines were probably funny, but it seemed
he didn't execute.
I don't know. I felt kind of.
That's awesome.
You could definitely tell like he's not used to acting. I don't know. He just didn't really seem like. I feel like he probably had a good script that he was working off of, and if someone else was reading those lines, then we all would have been laughing. But it just seemed very unnatural, and I don't know. He wasn't totally in the character, I guess.
Yeah, Seth Rogen's character too. Like, again, they had a lot of funny parts, but I feel like at some points it was just like with all his movies, it's like, okay, simmer down. Like that's too over the top, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like he throws the laptop in the snow, and it's like, come on, Seth.
Right.
Like that's too like you can be pissed off, but like
and she's like, oh, I have copies of it, and then he's like, oh my god,
yeah,
he goes out and gets it. Like, did this really just occur to you that you probably shouldn't have done that?
Yeah, like it was at that point too when they're out of the country and they're trying to get this this bill support for this bill or whatever they're passing.
Like a environmental bill.
Yeah. And they like they're under fire, like their entire like hotel room is like under fire or whatever, and they have to like evacuate. It made me think about this funny story when when I was at my friend's lake house, and I was with Meg Rayfac. You don't know Meg? Anyway,
we might have met before.
You probably met. She was on our oh no, you never play on our IM teams.
Yeah, no, I wasn't cool enough.
Yeah. You're always
I didn't have
invited.
the talent. I never made tryouts.
Well, we had so the scene where they're blowing stuff up in their hotel room made me think we're at the lake house, and Meg's younger brother Ryan he always lets off fireworks for 4th of July. So we're all sitting there on the beach, and one goes off like too close to us and like comes towards us a bit. So the sparks go, and out of just like natural what am I trying to say? Natural reaction.
Yeah.
I throw Meg in front of me and like go behind her.
Oh no.
Nothing happened, but just and it's on video too. So it's even worse is that like
that's so bad.
It's like in my head I always thought like, I would always like protect someone else, and then in that split second, just like going off of instinct, I was just like wanting to just throw her in front of me.
Oh no.
It's amazing. I'll show you the video after this.
Are you a Seinfeld watcher? Or?
No, I never. Only because of the fact that when it was out, like obviously we were young kids, and my mom used to watch it, and I used to think it was like the most boring thing ever. So obviously I was like 5.
As a kid, yeah,
5 or 6.
Like none of the jokes probably made sense.
No, it just was like, this is not colorful. So
right.
I remember being like 6 years old, being like, this show is stupid. Like, why does my mom watch this show? Like, I'm like 7, 8 years old, and I'll be like, this is dumb. Like, I want to watch cartoons. So that just stuck with me. So then I never tried to rewatch it either. And then watching 90s shows now is like hard. Like watching like shows with like a live audience and stuff is like hard to watch now for me for whatever reason. I don't know if I'm just like past it now or what. But like I'm too evolved.
You're too good for the rest of us.
Yeah. I can't do it.
No, I was gonna say
Did that remind you of a scene?
Yeah, there's this Seinfeld episode where George is at this party and he's dating this one girl, and there's someone yells fire or something, and he ends up pushing over like all the kids at the party. He runs out, pushes over the girl he's dating, pushes over her mom, like to save himself, and he just like can't come back from it. It's a good one. If you watch one episode, like watch that one just so you can understand this reference.
Oh man, I would I'd like to think that again that I'd given some time to think and plan that I'd help other people out, but in that situation it was like instinct was like I gotta hide, I gotta duck.
You never know in those like intense situations like
how you react.
Yeah, I mean even like I was a lifeguard for probably 5 years and did all the CPR training and everything, first aid training, and then someone at our work was choking like a couple weeks ago, and I'm just looking around like like who's gonna jump in, like anyone know what to do, and then like I'm so self-conscious because I'm like, hopefully none of these people like know that I did all this training. I should probably know how to save this poor woman. But luckily someone from a couple rows over, like I kid you not, Todd, he like literally leaped over the cubicles to save this woman.
And you're just standing there.
Comes sprinting. I'm like, oh, thank God for him, because
you're listening to classical music. You're just like
I'm too into classical music.
Put your headphones back in, just sit back down over.
Yeah, no, it was scary though. But yeah, and those like
scary.
It was, but yeah, in those like intense situations, you never know how you're gonna react. Honestly.
Oh my gosh. Another funny part that I had was the opening scene. So I thought the opening scene was like.
I thought it was a trailer.
Yeah, it was intense, but like when they had the opening scene is like they have he's at a like neo-Nazi meeting or white nationalist meeting, and Seth Rogan is, and he's like going undercover as a journalist to get an idea of like what they're up to, and like I don't know, doing an expose on them. And obviously Seth Rogan in real life I believe is Jewish. But
at least his character is.
His character in the movie is
yeah.
Jewish. But so he's there, and they like force him to get like a swastika tattoo that he gets part of it. That was funny.
That was
That whole scene was a funny opening scene. So it was a classic Seth Rogen type of scene. But that had me laughing really hard.
It did start off really serious, so that's
Yeah,
why I said
like,
I thought
what
it was
movie's
a
that
trailer,
about?
because
Yeah.
I was like, when's the movie starting? Because until I saw Seth Rogan, obviously,
Right.
I knew it was part of the movie, but at first I was like, what is this?
Yeah, it was intense. I was like, what is happening? And then when they were, when her assistant was basically trying to convince her that dating Seth Rogan wouldn't, her poll numbers would go down, and she's showing the different pairings of like how people reacted to different couples, comparing them, and then
Yeah,
when
that
she
was
showed the one
funny.
of Jennifer Lawrence and a potato and a windbreaker,
Yeah.
I died. Like it's just like silly stuff like
That
that.
was
Like,
funny. That girl's character, they did not make her likable at
no,
all.
she sucked. She sucked. And when they ran into each other, like hooking up, like she was hooking
Yeah.
up with the other guy, and when they ran into each other in the hallway, that scene was really funny
That
too.
was funny. No, I feel like she, like, a lot of times in movies you have that person that just no one likes. I feel like she was kind of the Angela,
Yeah,
from
right.
The Office. like,
Exactly.
the Angela of this movie where you just can't like her.
Yeah, they made her that for sure, and
Yeah.
she had some. She definitely was like funny, like her insert
Yeah.
was
Having her was like essential, but it
Yeah.
just made you not like her at
Oh,
all.
100%. A couple of things too that I had jotted down. How much do you think speechwriters make? Like I was thinking about that. Like they obviously he like had just quit his job and was kind of bummy, and they're like
Yeah.
obviously this is a huge upgrade, like an offer you can't refuse type of deal. And I was thinking like how much do you think those type of writers make?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. This movie did definitely make me think about that role. You never really think about the speechwriters that
No.
much, but
Especially that's like the highest that you can go as far as speech writing.
yeah.
Like,
I mean, you just assume that like whoever's saying it came up with it, but I'm sure in most cases not true. But
Right.
I don't know, maybe like 100K.
yeah, I don't know. I might need to become a speechwriter. Like, if you get Charlize Theron at becoming a speechwriter, then
Yeah.
I need to switch
I
my
mean,
name
if that
up.
is like the top of your industry, like I would
Yeah.
think you'd hopefully make like good money.
Yeah,
but
you'd think, right? I don't know. I would be interested to know that. Then also like the concept with this movie of like a less attractive, less successful guy. Is it realistic that he gets Charlize Theron?
I mean, I think so.
I think so too.
I liked that part of it where she was so frustrated by how the media treated her and just how her past relationships had been, and even that like one Canadian guy, the prime
Right.
minister or whatever, how he was boring to talk to.
Right.
And Seth Rogan seemed more different, and I
Yeah.
can totally see someone in that role like
Appreciating
being
that.
really
authenticity.
appreciating that
Yeah.
and like liking someone who is themselves, and I can see it happening.
Yeah, I think so too. I just wanted to add because I think obviously in this movie like they dramatize it a lot, where it's like
Yeah.
he's just like this super like loser, and it's like I think in real life though those type of that type of relationship is probably, I mean you see it all the time,
Mhm.
even amongst celebrities and amongst I don't want to say normal people, like we're just like some mere mortals and they're like this like demigod of some sort, but you do see that where it's like the less attractive like nerdy guy gets like,
Yeah, I feel like it made
not that looks mean any I mean looks
Right.
on everything, which is I guess the overall message here is it's about what's on the inside, but
Yeah, I feel like it kind of underestimated the values of the public, though, because it was just like making it seem as though, oh, this could never happen.
right, yeah.
That's out of this world. You might as well date a potato,
Yeah.
basically. But I mean, I don't really think it's that far out
No,
there
right.
at all. I
No.
mean, there's a lot of celebrity couples that are not like one or both people aren't that attractive, and
Oh, for sure.
people still love them. So
For sure, yeah. That almost makes you like them more.
yeah.
For me at least. Shout out to them playing Frank Ocean's version of Moon River. So Moon River, I think it was kind of like an ode to, I'm assuming, an ode to Breakfast at Tiffany's, because Audrey Hepburn sung it in that movie. But I love Frank Ocean, so I like that they used his version for the movie. And I think, it would have been kind of weird if they used the version from A Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Yeah.
And then another romance movie.
I guess if I'm thinking back to our round table or round robin or whatever you said, the rapid fire. That's
Oh,
where,
yeah.
Breakfast at Tiffany's is like my all-time favorite.
All time? Okay.
Rom-com.
That's fair.
Now that I've had like
Some-
30 minutes
Yeah.
or whatever to think about.
You've just been sitting there, not even thinking about the
Yeah.
review, you've just been thinking about that question.
Yeah, oh, we got another chance to
Yeah.
redeem myself.
There you go. Well,
Yeah.
we'll go back. We'll just edit that part and just
Yeah.
like drop it during the rapid fire.
Soundbite.
Yeah. It sounds like super out of place.
Yeah. You can do it though. You can make it happen.
Oh yeah, we'll make it happen. So in this movie, obviously they travel a ton for, they're just traveling all over the place, and it made me think about, my personal, obviously naturally when you see a story, you watch a movie, you draw similarities to your own life, and I thought about like my previous job where we were just talking about before the podcast where I was traveling like all the time, and at the time, I would sometimes complain. Some places you go cool, some places you're like, I'm just tired of traveling. Like even if they are cool places, I just want to be in my own bed and stuff. And what's funny is that now obviously the grass is always greener, but now that I'm sitting down, like the last couple of weekends, I haven't had anywhere to go or anything to do really, and I just feel like I need to do something. Like I'm sitting on my couch, I need to figure something. Yeah, I get antsy, and I always feel like I'm missing something. Like I always feel like a weekend, what am I forgetting to do? Like, am I forgetting to go somewhere? Like, was I supposed to do something with someone? So now I'm been even more organized with my calendar because I just don't want to miss anything.
Yeah.
Because before it's my weekends were pretty much a wash, a lot of the times, especially when it got warm out with events. So, so it is that's a weird feeling of not having something.
That
So
is
I
a
gotta get
lifestyle
life.
change
Yeah.
though, because you were traveling a lot. So,
Yeah.
and once you are doing that, I mean, traveling, it's fun when you do it, for fun or every now and then for work.
Right.
But if you're traveling, every other week or even more,
Right.
it takes a toll on you. Like my dad travels all the time, and
Yeah.
even not his health is declining, but he is so sick of eating out because it just makes you feel crappy after a while. Even if you're
100%.
going to a nice restaurant and ordering not even that bad for you things,
It's not the same.
eating out all the time just makes you not feel good.
And you can't. It's hard to get a routine too. So when you travel, it's hard to stay on a workout routine and do the same. So you do to drink enough water, each day. You're traveling, you don't think about that type of stuff, and you are just gonna get the closest bite to eat.
Yeah.
So it is. So yeah, health wise, that is true. Something to consider when you travel a ton.
Have you ever? This is not a brand sponsored call out, but have you ever been to Even Hotels?
No.
I think it's by Hilton or one of those big chains or
Okay.
something. And it's a wellness hotel, and you go in. They have a really nice gym there. You go in and there's plants everywhere and infused water, and in every room they have yoga mats and resistance bands and stuff.
Wait.
And it's meant for people who travel that are looking for wellness and to incorporate to have that routine not be lost.
I feel like I have been to one. I went to a hotel. It might have been a Hilton, actually, that they offered specific rooms like that. Was it in San Antonio? Where was I at? Someplace I went, and they offered hey, if you want this type of room, it has a yoga mat, and then we'll have classes,
that's
and then
nice.
we'll
Yeah.
have. So it was exactly what you're describing, but every room didn't necessarily have, or they bring it in there. We can bring it and have it in here. Room service will bring, or not room service, cleaning service will come and replenish all this stuff, kind of what you're describing. So maybe that's
they would wash your workout clothes if
Yeah,
you put them
yep.
out instead of clean your shoes. They
Yep.
would wash your workout clothes. So maybe.
Yep,
Maybe,
yeah, I know exactly.
maybe you did stay
I
there,
have.
other people are catching on, but it's kind of funny because it's called Even Hotels because all the numbers are even. They don't have odd numbers.
Oh, I would. You miss when I get lost in there.
Yeah. Took me a while to realize that.
Yeah.
But, we'll end this advertisement.
Yeah, right, for
That's not
Even
actually an
Hotels.
advertisement.
Thank you, Even Hotels, for sponsoring the entire. No, I'm just kidding.
If you want to, though,
Yeah, right.
you can.
Also, in this, the movie dealt with the idea that, would you, so if you have this lifelong goal, whatever it is, I don't know if you have one that you're I definitely want to accomplish this. Would you be willing to compromise your morals to get to that goal? And that was something that she had, a crossroads she had at the end of the movie. Would you, or is there a range on that, or you absolutely would not compromise morals to get to your end goal?
I think everyone likes to say that, oh, no, I would never compromise my morals.
Yeah.
But especially in this movie, it kind of makes you think, oh, if I were in that situation, it would be really hard.
Yeah.
So, I'd like to say that I never would,
Right.
but who knows? I can definitely relate to like Charlotte, the main character, and what she went through, because
Right.
that would be hard. Like, especially if the president of the United States is telling you to do something, he's
Right.
your boss. We're not even at that level. Like, if your leader or boss or whatever is telling you to do something, it can be hard to speak out and say no.
Right.
So I definitely would like to think that I would stick to my morals, hopefully. What about you?
Yeah. Exact same thing. Like, yeah, ideally, like, I'd sit here and say, like, yeah, no way I'd, compromise my morals, but at the same time, like, faced with that actual, like, decision, and you have, like, what is seemingly everything you've ever wanted, and your end goal that you have for however many years that you've been planning out and worked so hard for seems to be right here, and this, at the time, seems to be the only path, then it would be tough, because I definitely believe that, like, you reap what you sow, and that also, like, if you do the right thing, then it'll all work out at some, in some fashion the way it's supposed to. So, keeping that in mind, I'd like to think that no matter what I was faced with, I'd be like, nope, I'll do the right thing and it'll work out. But like you said, life is right there. It would be tough. So I'd like to say yes.
But I do think everything, like, will come around, though, and I think it's probably more tempting to, like, bend your morals if you're more so behind the scenes from the public. But I think it was telling that her, I don't want to say breaking point, but, like, her point of turning around was when she actually had to talk about what she believed in her speech, and she was like, I can't do this. I can't just, like, sit up here and lie.
Yeah.
And I feel like I would probably be the same. Like, I might not be perfect, like, the whole way, like, the whole journey or whatever, but if I had to go and, like, talk about what I was doing and act like I was, like, sticking to my morals and everything when I really wasn't, that would probably be really hard. I don't think I could do that. I would probably come clean too.
Same. Yeah, I've always been a bad liar. I've never really tried to lie that often. So I mean sometimes it comes off very blunt, but I try to be conscious of that. But yeah, no, I've never been really good at lying. So if I got up there, it probably wouldn't even come off as believable. I'd be like, all right, no, like, I can't.
Yeah,
And
I do not have a poker face whatsoever.
Yeah, no, I'd be terrible. And I think, the thought of someone telling me what to do, I hate people telling me what to do. So that would definitely be that would be a struggle too. If someone, like, trying to blackmail me to do something, then that would be tough. That would be tough.
Plus too, like, if, like, with blackmailing, if you let people blackmail you one time, then it's probably gonna happen again.
Yeah,
they know that, like, you can be tempted or people can get your way.
Yeah.
Get their way with you if you are blackmailed. Then it's
unless
probably
you
gonna
kill
just
them.
keep happening.
You gotta keep killing people.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, you have.
The movie takes a weird turn.
Yeah, it takes a weird turn. Yeah, she just becomes a murder mystery.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's crazy. Another funny thing that made me think of something personal was when O'Shea Jackson at the end, when she decides to say F the presidency, even if I don't get it, I don't get it, and they start making out in front of her apartment, and he starts to chant of, like, whatever, Charlotte. He's like, I started the chant. I thought about, like, when I was a kid, me and my aunt's, like, really, like, an older sister. She's only 7 years older than me, so she's like an older sister, really. We would compete to see who could start a clap at stuff, like different functions. So especially, like, church, like, if it was a moment where we thought, like, a clap would start, we tried to be the first people in the church to clap, and then, like we started the clap.
Yeah.
Like, so I don't know where we saw it. We saw it in some movie or whatever. But then after that, like, or we go to, like, a graduation, or we go to, like, my sister's, like, dance competitions, like, we try to be the one who started the clap. So it made me think of that, and it's just, like, so silly. Like, I have to start that up. Yeah, next time I see, like, next time I'm with her at an event, I'm definitely gonna be like, let's start a clap up.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Have you ever started a wave at a sports stadium?
No, that's hard.
That's like a bucket list thing, though.
You have to you can't start a wave solo. Like, you have to, like, be like, I mean, you can be the one who organizes it, but you definitely have to get, like, 20 people with you. Like, yo, we're all gonna, like, get this wave going.
Right.
But, like, that's a hard. If you start a wave, like, that's something I put on my resume.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Major respect there if you can pull that off.
Yeah, I almost would delete everything else on my resume and just put, like, wave starter.
Like, that's it.
Started wave in 2013.
That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
Speaks for itself.
Yeah, I'd hire a wave starter. In conclusion, though, I feel like the movie.
What a great job, though.
Right? Yeah. He starts waves. But
he's the waiver.
Yeah, the waiver. You're right, we just keep going.
You can go on. I'm sorry.
Oh, man. I feel like it's a good at-home movie. So I feel like, I don't know that you go to the theaters to see it. I wasn't pissed that I went to the theaters, and I wasn't upset.
You
by
get your
any means.
money's worth.
But I always go matinee anyway. Like I go to matinee showings. I go to $5 Tuesday. So I'm never really mad when I leave because it's like, okay, cool. Especially $5 Tuesday. I go $5 and I got free popcorn. Like we're good. But I think you know what you're gonna get for the most part. Again, like you said, it is one of those where you know what you're gonna get, but it had potential to be maybe more than what you're expecting.
Yeah.
But it ended up just kind of being what you were expecting by the end of it. Good amount of like laugh out loud moments. And Seth is going to be Seth Rogan. Like
right.
You just know that if you see him in a movie and he has any part in writing or which I'm sure he has some say in his character and stuff. You kind of know what you're gonna get.
Exactly. Yeah. That's
and just
so
if
true.
you're ready for that, then you won't be really disappointed. So what would you give this movie out of or on a scale of 1 to 10?
I would say maybe 6 out of 10.
Okay. Yeah.
10 being like Oscar-winning best movie ever. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I gave it right around there. 6. I gave it 6.5. Gave it some love, but yeah. I think it wasn't terrible, but yeah, maybe if you go $5 Tuesday date night, cheap date night, it's not terrible. Netflix though, I think is probably the one. Like
that's a good place for it.
If you and Dan are chilling at home on a Friday and it's like, this is like a lazy Friday, it's raining outside, let's see on Netflix. Oh, okay, cool. Long shots on here. Like you're not mad that you watched it.
Yeah, I mean, I would watch it again. I wouldn't seek it out to watch it again,
Right.
but it's that type of movie where it's like, I'm good seeing this once. Like I got
Right.
what I wanted to get out of this. But
Right.
if like someone wanted to see it and hadn't seen it, I would probably watch it with them. But
Yeah.
overall, not like too.
Not right into it.
Yeah.
Also, I was about to forget to mention this, and I'm so glad that I said Dan.
He's been walking by here, by the way.
Dan?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
He's been doing laps. I don't know. Just to catch a glimpse of you, I guess.
Of course. Oh my god, I wish I would have seen him doing it.
I didn't want to distract you.
Oh my gosh, only Dan. For the last several years, I thought since he started growing his beard, I thought he looked like Seth Rogan.
He got that one time.
Yeah.
I've
said it to him for since college, since he started growing his beard out.
Yeah, it was funny because we were in college, in East Lansing, and it was around the time of Halloween.
Yeah.
And I think we weren't really dressed up. It kind of was half costume things where you throw on a cowgirl hat or something like that.
Right.
And he was just wearing a Wings jersey. He was just a hockey player or whatever, half costume kind of thing.
Right.
And someone came up to him and was like, "Oh my god, you're Seth Rogan. That's so funny, dude." He's like, "No." He just ran with it. He's like, "Yep."
I can totally, you can see it, man.
Yeah.
I've thought it for a while, especially with the red beard and everything, for sure.
He's been getting Prince Harry a lot too.
That's
yeah.
great.
Which hopefully people think he's the younger Prince Harry,
Right.
and not
Not
the
older,
balding
the
one.
bald.
The balding one right now, but especially around the time that him and Meghan Markle were getting married.
Yeah.
People were like, "Oh my gosh, you look like Prince Harry." I think redheads just are put into this category together. Not that Dan's a redhead, he has a reddish tint.
Yeah.
But I feel people who have a red hue to their hair just kind of get lumped together and they're oh, they
That
all
is
look
true.
alike.
That is so true. So sorry that we're stereotyping red hue hair people. Red hue.
Please, we do not mean to offend.
Yeah. The red hair community. Any upcoming movies you're excited about?
I'm excited about Dumbo. I haven't seen that
Oh, you
yet,
haven't
and
seen
that's
it?
on my list.
Okay. All right. You should no, actually you can't listen to it. You should see the short review like I mentioned on my website. That would be a good, so that you don't have spoilers listen to the podcast.
Yeah, I'm gonna check it out, and then I'll make sure to watch the podcast after.
Yeah.
Because I've been wanting to see that. I want to see. I think is it Hustler or something with Rebel Wilson.
Oh
and,
yeah. Fat
Anne
Amy.
Hathaway.
I never
Anne
call her by her
Hathaway.
real name, but yeah.
Fat Amy.
Yeah. She's always
by
Fat
Pitch
Amy. to me.
Perfect or
Yeah. I love Pitch Perfect.
I don't really like Rebel Wilson that much, but that movie looked pretty good.
Yeah.
I checked it out.
Yeah, let me know what you think. I don't know if that'll be one that makes it to the podcast, but I might go see it because I like both of them. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to. I hesitate saying this, but Anna. So I saw a preview for it when I went and saw Long Shot, and it's an action movie where she's this secret spy, and I'm nervous because it's the same people who did Lucy, which I've gone on record as saying is the worst movie I've ever paid money to see. So the fact that they're doing this one makes me nervous. But the trailer got me, man. The trailer looks like, all right, she's about to get busy in this movie and, like, you know, beat up a bunch of people. I like seeing that. Like, she's like the secret agent, goes and beats up a bunch of people and then just, like, kind of walks out, like, without a scratch. Like, I like those type of movies.
Are you a James Bond person, or?
I like them. My dad used to watch them a lot, like the older ones a lot when I was a kid. So I've watched some of them, and then I've seen maybe 2 or 3 of the newer ones with was it Daniel Craig?
I think so.
I think I've seen like maybe 3 of his. So you know, I like them. I like them. I'm not like a huge Bond fan. There's like a billion of them, so it's like hard to like keep up. And it's like it's weird because like they don't connect, but they do connect, and there's like 50. And it's like, what are we doing? Like, there's different Bonds. Like, I don't know. So it's like it's the same, but it's the same exact story every time. Like, like yeah, I don't get it. I don't get what Bond is, but yeah, they're not bad. But yeah, that's all I had for this episode. Did you have anything else you want to add?
No, maybe I would if I took notes during the movie and I like can't even read them.
Yeah, I love that you took handwritten. I mean, you're not the first person to take handwritten notes. I had one of my guests came up here with typed out notes.
Oh wow!
Like typed and printed out. Like obviously I typed mine up and put it on my laptop. She typed them up and then printed them out.
That's impressive.
Next step, yeah.
Raise the bar.
So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I tried to take notes in the theater, but it was really dark, so it just like it was such a struggle. I've written over some of the notes, but I feel like we covered a lot of ground here, and I think we did a good job. I
think so too. I appreciate you coming up. I think you did a fantastic job.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having me. This was fun.
Absolutely, anytime. All right, everyone. Thank you all for listening. Until next week. Peace out.